Welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Minneapolis City Council. My name is Barbara Johnson, Minneapolis City Council President. And before we begin our meeting, we have a resolution to present to a group of people who are here to talk about Milwaukee Avenue, which is a very distinctive street in our city. And we're going to have a plaque unveiled this weekend. Is that 14th. Okay, so a week. Okay, all right. Why don't you come up and join us, if you would, please? I recognize some familiar faces here. Come on, some over here, and yeah, now we all get in the camera. All right. So I will read the resolution, Council Member Warsame. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I introduce you? I perhaps did not. I'm so sorry. My colleague, Council Member Abdi Warsame, who represents Milwaukee Avenue. So we're going to pass a resolution today during our council meeting. And Connie, can you hold that? And then I'll thank you. Resolution of the City of Minneapolis honoring the Milwaukee Avenue Historic District. Whereas Milwaukee Avenue is a historic district located in the Seward neighborhood in the city of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and whereas the district comprises two city blocks of small homes on quarter-sized lots built between 1884 and 1890 by William Reagan, a Minneapolis real estate speculator, and whereas 22nd and a Half Avenue, later known as Milwaukee Avenue, is one of the earliest examples of a planned workers' community in Minneapolis, which attracted workers of Scandinavian and East European descent who worked for the nearby Milwaukee Railroad shops and yards, as well as other industries. And whereas Milwaukee Avenue is a rare concentration of workers' residences of similar style that represent a common man's architecture, which proliferated from copybook plans made popular in the late 19th century, and not that of the rich and famous. And whereas by the end of World War II, the houses had deteriorated by the end, and in the 1970s were planned for demolition. Whereas a group of residents and concerned citizens fought to save the houses, eventually leading to their inclusion on the National Register of Historic Places and the federal protection and rehabilitation that comes with the designation. And whereas in 1974, the Seward West Project Area Committee submitted an application to the National Register of Historic Places for the Milwaukee Avenue District and was approved on May 2nd, 1974 by the Secretary of the Interior, Rogers C.B. Morton, and in July 25th, 1975, received its local historic designation. And whereas the homes on Milwaukee Avenue evoke the current paradigm of new urbanism with its emphasis on medium-density housing, inviting porches, and proximity to various urban resources, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Minneapolis that the city does present this honorary resolution in recognition of the contribution that the Milwaukee Avenue Historic District represents to the cultural and architectural landscape of the city of Minneapolis. That'll be passed by the council today. Councilmember Warsame.
I'm very proud to present this resolution, and Milwaukee Avenue is one of my favorite locations in the city of Minneapolis. I actually have in my office, in my bookshelf, a book, and it's titled Milwaukee Avenue, Community Renewal in Minneapolis by this gentleman here, Mr. Robert Roscoe, and actually it's a signed copy, and it talks about the history of this beautiful place and all the struggle that went into making it what it is today. So thank you, Robert. Thank you to the Homeowners Association, and thank you to the City Council for this resolution.
Pass it to Connie.
Connie, okay.
The Milwaukee Avenue Homeowners Association and author Bob Roscoe are honored to receive the City of Minneapolis Council resolution recognizing Milwaukee Avenue Historic District's architectural and social contribution to the City of Minneapolis. We thank Mayor Hodges and the City Council, especially Councilmember Abdi Warsame and Policy Aide Marcela Sotelo Odor, for their support of the Milwaukee Avenue Historic Sign Project. We received a Minnesota Historical Society Arts and Cultural Heritage Grant with the sponsorship of the Seward Neighborhood Group to create and install an historic sign in the heart of the Milwaukee Avenue Historic District. In recognition of the Avenue's 40th anniversary of local designation, you and the public are invited to attend the unveiling of this historic sign on Saturday, November 14th at 1 p.m. at the center of the Milwaukee Avenue Pedestrian Mall. So please join us in celebrating the Historic District's designations as a landmark in the Seward neighborhood and the great city of Minneapolis. We thank you very, very much for this.
Good to see you too, Connie. We've known each other many years. So I just want to mention that Milwaukee Avenue, we are dealing with a proposal in North Minneapolis for a greenway. And so Milwaukee Avenue is what we tell people to go look at to understand what we're talking about. And it is, it's a two block span. We're talking about a lot more length than that. But it gives people an idea of how people live without having, the street in front of their home. It's been very, very useful. So. Yes, you sure did. You sure did. And what a treasure when you drive around the neighborhood and come along to see Milwaukee Avenue. It's really great. So, anyone else care to say anything? No. All right. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. I'm going to call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Minneapolis City Council to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Present.
Gordon.
Here.
Kano.
Here.
Reich.
Here.
Bender.
Here.
Glidden.
Here.
Yang.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Quincy.
Here.
Warsami.
Present.
Councilmember Goodman is absent. Councilmember Fry.
Here.
President Johnson.
Here.
There are 12 members present.
We have 12 quorum present of the City Council. Councilmember Goodman is finishing up her travel on city business. So she'll be joining us at our next, or at Community Development, I guess, on Tuesday. Next item on the agenda is adoption of the agenda. And I have a motion by Councilmember Warsami to amend the agenda to include under the order of resolutions, the resolution honoring the Milwaukee Avenue Historic District. Is there a second on that motion? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that carries. Then on the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that carries. Next, we have acceptance of the minutes of the regular meeting in the adjourned session of October 23rd, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that carries. Next, we have referral petitions, communications, and reports of the city officers to the proper committees and departments.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that carries. Our reports of our standing committees are next, and the first to report is the Community Development Regulatory Services Report, and that committee's vice chair is Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam President. We have 5 items that we're moving forward today. The first is liquor and business licenses. The second is Dunn Brothers restaurant license, approving a operating conditions agreement. Third is authorizing a restructuring of the city's Great Streets Gap financing loan to Art Space on Chicago Avenue, the Fire Arts Center. Fourth is Seward Tower renovation project, both passage of a resolution as well as authorizing special approval of about $4 million to be refinanced by Seward Towers. Fifth is the Affordable Housing Trust Fund allocations, including $8.8 million to several projects, plus an additional $2.5 million that we will be working through. I will move all 5 items.
Councilmember Fry has moved the Community Development Regulatory Services Report. Anyone want to pull anything off or discuss any of those items? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Reich.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Glidden.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
Warsami.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
President Johnson.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That report is adopted. Next, we have Public Safety, Civil Rights, and Emergency Management, and that committee is chaired by Councilmember Yang.
Thank you, Madam President. Today we have one item to forward for approval. That item is authorizing a revenue contract to provide an estimated 2 technicians and 1 USPCA certified police K-9 from the police department to the Timberwolves at the Target Center. And with that, I will move that item for approval.
Councilmember Yang has moved the Public Safety, Civil Rights, and Emergency Management report. Any discussion on that item? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Glidden.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
Warsami.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
President Johnson.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That report is adopted. Next, we have the Transportation and Public Works report. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Reich.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee will forward 17 items today for approval. Item 1 is the sidewalk repair construction 2016 assessments. Item 2 is the snow and ice removal public sidewalk 2016 assessments. Item 3 is the non-governmental tax exempt parcel street operations 2016 assessments. Item 4 is the non-governmental tax parcel street maintenance 2016 assessments. Item 5 is a stormwater treatment and research facility cooperative agreement with the City of St. Anthony to proceed with that project. Item 6 is the West Broadway Transit Alternative Study. We've received a report on that. Item 7 is the cleaning and lining of cast iron mains contract amendment with our contractor to increase our activities for that project. Item 8 is the Fridley Softening Plant Recarbonation System Improvement Project Agreement, and that's an execution agreement with for engineering services for our subcontractor for our Fridley plant. That will be referred to Ways and Means. Item 9 is the Downtown Pedestrian Improvement Project Agreement with MnDOT. And that's conducting a Phase 1, Phase 2 architectural historical review of the Downtown Pedestrian Improvement Project. Item 10 is a hydrologic and hydraulic modeling contract. That's a contract with Bar Engineering to perform that work. Item 11 is the master partnership contract with MnDOT, and it's an amendment to an existing plan with them regarding our work with the master partnership contract with MnDOT. Item 12 is the Hennepin-Lindale Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project. That's an amendment to authorize an execution of amendment to increase that contract to allow for additional work. Item 13 is the public art placement. That's a direction to staff to continue with the relocation of an item that was formerly on the mall. Item 14 is the 8th Street Southeast Street Reconstruction and Street Lighting Project. And that's a postponement of assessments based on staging of the project. Item 15 is a quarterly submittal of traffic zones, restrictions, and controls. And that's a third quarter report that we received and filed. Item 16 is the Vin Place feasibility study reimbursement agreement for that project for the study from the Walker Arts Center, who will be the cost contributor. And now item 17 is the bid and special service district snow removal services as outlined in the proposal by Stone Pros LLC. Madam President, I move all items as submitted.
Councilmember Reich has moved the Transportation Public Works report. Anyone want to pull anything off or discuss any of those items? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Glidden.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
Warsami.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
President Johnson.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That report is adopted. Next, we have the Ways and Means report, and that committee is chaired by Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam President. Ways and Means brings forward 8 items for your consideration this morning. The first is a settlement of litigation regarding 22 on the River LLC. This is with support of the Park Board for a settlement agreement on park dedication fees. Item number 2 is a Hennepin County Community Corrections Contract Amendment. Item 3 is a signing on of an amicus brief in Friedrichs versus California Teachers Association et al. Item number 4 is a building use contract with the Minneapolis American Indian Center. 5 is the third quarter gift acceptance for 2015. Item number 6 is the contract for investment consultant services with J.H. Elwood Associates. Item 7 is the Minneapolis High Rise Representative Council Agreement. that authorizes an agreement with that high-rise representative council in an amount not to exceed $80,000. And then the final item is the Byrne Criminal Justice Innovation Grant acceptance, accepting $155,522 as a planning grant award from the Department of Justice for a cross-sector partnership focusing on Little Earth. Move all 8 items for approval.
Councilmember Quincy has moved the Ways and Means report. Anyone want to pull anything off or discuss any of those items? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Glidden.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Quincy.
Aye.
Warsami.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
President Johnson.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That that report is adopted. Next, we have the introduction and referral calendar. And the first is pursuant to notice, Councilmember Palmisano refers the subject matter of the following ordinances amending the code relating to the zoning code for first reading and referral to Zoning and Planning Committee, revising the Linden Hills Overlay District and Pedestrian Oriented Overlay District, and amending the zoning map as part of a rezoning study consistent with the guidance of the Linden Hills Small Area Plan. Any discussion on that introduction? Councilmember Palmisano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to clarify. Today I'm introducing subject matter of an ordinance revising the Linden Hills Overlay District and the Pedestrian Oriented Overlay District and amending the zoning map as part of a rezoning study that's consistent with the Linden Hills Small Area Plan. The Linden Hills Small Area Plan was adopted by City Council in December 2013, and I'm really pleased that we're now embarking on implementation of the land use guidance that's in the plan. The 45-day comment period kicked off at a well-attended open house on Wednesday, and I look forward to hearing what both Linden Hills residents and the Linden Hills business community has to say about these proposed zoning code revisions. Thanks.
Thank you. Any discussion then on that introduction? Any more discussion? Excuse me. All in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Then pursuant to notice, Councilmember Goodman is moving to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code for first reading and referral to Community Development Regulatory Services, amending regulations as a part of the Business Made Simple initiative. Any discussion on that introduction? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Next, we have, pursuant to notice, Councilmember Wright moves to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to housing for first reading and referral to the Community Development Regulatory Services Committee, amending provisions related to composting to add a new definition of acceptable and prohibited materials and to clarify enforcement requirements. Any discussion on that introduction? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Next, we have a motion by Councilmember Reich pursuant to notice to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to the zoning code for first reading and referral to the Zoning and Planning Committee, amending regulations related to snow storage. Any discussion on that introduction? Seeing none, all in approval say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. Then pursuant to notice, Councilmember Quincy and myself are introducing the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to administration, ethics, and government for first reading and referral to the Ways and Means Committee, amending provisions relating to trust and accountability. Any discussion on that introduction? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Then pursuant to notice, Councilmember Palmisano and Gordon are introducing the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to the food code, administration and licensing for first reading and referral to Community Development Regulatory Services Committee, amending regulations for mobile food vehicle vendors. Any discussion on that introduction? Seeing none, all in approval say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. Pursuant to notice, there's a motion by myself to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to the zoning code for first reading and referral to Zoning and Planning Committee, amending regulations for fences. And I should just mention, this is to introduce a new type of material for fencing in commercial industrial areas. And I have a sample of the material in my office if anyone would like to come and look at it. Any discussion then on that introduction? Seeing none, all in approval say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. Next, we have resolutions, and the first is a resolution honoring and celebrating National Pinky Swear Day. Okay. Another resolution honoring the Red Kettle Christmas campaign The resolution is honoring the Salvation Army's Red Kettle Christmas campaign. And the third is the addition to our agenda for the passage of the resolution honoring the Milwaukee Avenue Historic District. Any discussion on those resolutions? Seeing none, all in approval say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. Under unfinished, we have the water and sewer line service line repair assessment, and that was postponed on last council meeting, and I have asked the chair to continue to postpone. Councilmember Palmisano?
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I offer to move this item for one more cycle.
Okay, thank you very much. Continue to postpone under unfinished business. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in approval say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. Under new business, we have Councilmember Warsame giving notice of intent to introduce at the next regular meeting of the City Council the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to heritage preservation regulations, simplifying the required findings for certificate of appropriateness applications. That notice is given. Next, we have announcements. Anyone have announcements? Councilmember Yang.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't really know how to say this, but I will just say it in a very inarticulate sort of way. My policy aide, when I started here, which was just about 2 years ago, passed away this past weekend, and the details have been sent to as many folks as possible. But I think sometimes, in this line of work where we're on the dais and we're doing our city council work, we don't really get to say the names of the folks who mean a lot to us, on this dais. And for myself, Nikki Mitchell did some great things for me when she was here, and I just wanted to honor her by just saying her name a few times up here. So yes, if anybody has the chance to on Monday, please feel free to join us. But yeah, Nikki Mitchell was just a fantastic person, and I'm just glad that I had the chance to know her for the time that I did, and I feel really bad for her family, and hopefully good things will come their way. Thank you.
Take a moment of silence and remember Nikki. Thank you. Any other announcements? Seeing none, motion to adjourn would be in order, and it's a motion to adjourn to November 18th, 2015 at 6:05 p.m. In the council chambers for the purpose of conducting a public hearing to receive comments on the 2016 budget.
So moved.
All in approval say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.